Have you ever watched a true crime documentary or a movie based on someone who has killed someone? If so, you've heard the words sociopath and psychopath being thrown around. You probably asked yourself, what do those words mean? What's the difference? How does someone end up being classified as one? What are some examples? What are the signs we should look out for? Let's start with the word sociopath. A person who is unable to tell the right from wrong and has antisocial tendencies. Now, a psychopath is someone who is unstable, insane, abnormally violent, or unable to maintain normal social behavior. In an article by John M. Gruber, he says that both sociopaths and psychopaths have a prevalent pattern of disregard for the safety and rights of others. However, there's a difference between the two. Psychopaths tend to be more manipulative and can be seen by others as charming and lead a sub-normal life and minimize risk in a crime activities. As I said, sociopaths tend to be more erratic and unable to lead as much of a normal life. In a TED Talk by Jim Fallon, he claims through his studies that he's found that you get different types of psychopaths. Every one of the brains he's looked at was a serial killer and had damage to their orbital cortex, which is right above the eye. He goes on to say most psychopathic killers are male because of the MAOA gene, which is recessive and passes through the X chromosome. This happens because a boy can only get the X chromosome from his mother. It's a bit harder to classify a sociopath because they are a lot like psychopaths, which makes it a little bit more difficult to point out. So when classifying a sociopath or a psychopath, their traits look the same, but they're totally different because psychopaths are born and sociopaths are made. Movies and TV shows and books have all welcomed us into the lives of sociopaths and psychopaths and given us examples after example of them. What to look out for. You have even dated one without knowing that he or she was one. For example, in American Psycho, Christian Bale plays a sociopath named Patrick Bateman, which he has periodically attacks of psychosis, during which he is hallucinating. In the climax of the story, Bateman calls his lawyer and leaves a lengthy, detailed message confessing all of his crimes. He later runs into his lawyer, who mistakes him for someone else and dismisses his confession as a joke, leaving the supposed reality of Bateman's actions open to the audience. I gave this example because it's one of my favorite movies, but it also gives you a look at a sociopath. Now for an example of a psychopath. Ed Gein, who was a notorious serial killer who killed his victims and made things out of their skin and bones. I picked him because he inspired characters like Norman Bates, Leatherface, and Buffalo Bill in movies and TV shows. Now we have examples of them. How did we spot them? In an interview with Dr. Rhonda Derangler, he did on narcissistic, psychopaths, and sociopaths, and here's how to spot them. And here's how to spot the difference. Dr. Derangler states that you can spot a psychopath by how they have shown a pattern prior to the age of 15. Things like truancy, violence towards other kids, stealing, skipping school, and torturing animals and setting fires. She also said that sociopaths are kids that grew up in rough neighborhoods, learn criminology, and learn to bully and get involved with the wrong kids. That's how you can spot them. Before I end my speech, I would like to end with a quote from John Miller. This quote will come from his book, Paradise Lost. The mind is its own place. In itself, it can make a heaven of hell and a hell of heaven.